company on this Friday morning.
Suckling on the teat of tech with Paul Brislen and Wammo on Kiwi.
Yes, let's talk IT with our friend over at audit.wordpress.com, Paul Brislen on Twitter. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, and it's that time of the year where we'd like to wrap things up for the year.
The year in review.
The year in review, and what a tech year it has been, Paul Brislen.
Well, it has actually been quite exciting. I must say, I thought this morning when I was thinking about no, there's not really been much going on, but in fact, there's been quite a lot.
It's been
not least of which, of course, kicking off the right way was Windows 7.
Windows 7
dun, dun, dun.
finally released.
Finally released, sweeping all before it and erasing all memory of Windows Vista, which now seems like a distant blur, a bit like Windows ME or Windows 98
except
or
for
any
those,
of the other Windows.
Except for those still burdened with it.
Yes, with their 4 gig of RAM, trying to keep the thing up and running.
Yeah.
So one day I will make the leap to 7, but
do it now.
It's just pottering along quite nicely.
You'll have plenty of time over the holidays. You don't need any sunshine, do you? You just stay inside and reinstall Windows.
Excellent fun. That's the only 10 I get is from the glow from my fridge when I open the door anyway. So that'll just add to it, really, won't it?
Yeah, certainly a fantastic release, and it's not often we say that from Microsoft. It all seems weird to feel, and I feel a little bit strange inside when I say that, but it's true. It's true.
But it is.
And I'm really enjoying
it is. They pulled it out of the bag. I didn't think they would be able to resurrect Microsoft as the centerpiece of the home PC after Windows Vista, because it was just too clumsy, too overblown, too fat and clumsy. It was Fat Elvis in the worst possible way, and lo and behold, they reinvented themselves, and people seem to just be quite happy to get on with it. It's quite remarkable.
And we touched on it last week, but Google everything this year.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. What haven't they launched? So we've had Google Chrome, a web browser, talk of Google OS coming next year on netbooks, so that will be a very interesting one to keep an eye on. We've had Google Android, the operating system for cell phones, kick off. We've had Google Street View has really come into its own. They've had lots of trouble with privacy around the world. We've had Google Goggles, which was launched and then pulled, primarily because it seems that it's too good at what it does. And if you take a photo of somebody with your phone and Google Goggle it, it tells you who they are, where their Facebook page is, how to get in touch with them, basically how to cyberstalk them.
What do you think of privacy monkeys? I'm going to call them privacy monkeys.
Plenty of privacy around, isn't there? Probably rightly so. You know, this is a very big issue. Once privacy is uncorked, there's no stuffing it back in the bottle. And, the risk is these days that you can find out practically anything about practically anyone. So, we're really redefining the boundaries there, of course.
Did I hear you mention Wave at all?
Wave, no, I'd forgotten about the Wave, because Wave looks, it's a bit like, jetpacks, isn't it? It's so cool. What is it? I really don't know that I'd actually use it. But Wave's out there as well. This is Google's, I don't know what you want to call it, a collaborative environment tool thing. What's the name?
Can we forgive them for hyping it?
I think so, because anything Google does gets hyped out of all existence, doesn't it? I mean, they don't even have to do it themselves these days. Folk like us do it for them. So I guess, we could probably forgive them for that, just this once.
I think the clue should have been that they couldn't explain it in a 2-minute video. It had to be an hour-and-a-half video or something.
Yeah,
so
that's always the giveaway. If you can't get it down into a nutshell, it's Batman fights Jaws.
Yeah.
You're not going to get your movie across the line, and I think the same is true for software. If you can't explain it simply, you're barking up the wrong tree, really.
The rise of SM, or should I call it SM? Because it sounds very rude when you call it SM.
Yes.
The social media.
The Twitterati has taken off this year. It started off with a hiss and a roar, probably, I would say, with the plane crashing into the Hudson River, crash landing on the Hudson River, and within seconds we had, oh my God, have a look at this photo I've just taken. I'm on a boat, rescuing people off a plane, and there it was for all the world to see, seconds after the plane came down. And then the US election, of course, we had Twitter coverage has just gone from that point and gone through the roof, and shows no signs of stopping, I don't think. Yeah. There's always a bit of a slowdown in customer numbers and user numbers, but it comes in waves, and I think Twitter's going from strength to strength, and social media with it.
And of course, locally, the big thing back in February, it was a while ago now, and in fact, we've had more developments on this copyright story in the past week as well. Section 92.
Right. Yes, yeah, and I think you and I can claim full credit for both
Absolutely.
Section 92 and the ACC levies for scooters.
Yeah.
But, Section 92 was this draconian piece of legislation that basically said, if I'm a copyright holder and I think that poor young Wammo has been stealing my copyright, I send a letter to his ISP and they cut him off from the internet. Now, bearing in mind, we don't actually do that even for child pornographers. It seemed a little bit draconian and a little bit over the top. And yet, the Recording Industry Association assured us that it was necessary, or they would fail to make any money, and poor Beck Runge would have to go and flip burgers for a living.
Yeah.
So nobody really bought that. Finally, the new government said, no, we're not going to launch Section 92. There was a massive online awareness campaign, and with the blackout protest that reached as far as the UK and the US, with media reports over there of what was going on here. And finally, we got the whole thing stopped. And just this week, they've announced a replacement which, on the surface, appears to be an awful lot better than the old one, but it still has a long way to go, I think, to really sort out this problem of balancing the rights of the user with the rights of the copyright holder.
Well, and it still involves the ISP sending out notices to users, doesn't it?
Well, that's right. At least it's stepped away from the ISPs will pay for it all, and that means, of course, the customer will pay for it all, and the recording industry just sits there and can send out tens of thousands of these things. In Australia, that's exactly what's happened to iiNet, which used to own iHug. They received, I think it was something astonishing, like 25,000 notices a month from the recording industry, and when they failed to act on some of them, because 25,000 pieces of correspondence a month is really quite a lot to deal with, they got sued, and they're still fighting through the courts on that one. So I think, there's the opportunity here for us to move away from that kind of he said, she said model, and actually just get on and try and have a copyright act that works for everyone.
Paul, can we look at the year ahead?
The year ahead? Yes. Next year, I think we will see, it will be the year of the droid. The year of Android. Google's operating system for cell phones will be available on more devices than ever before, which means more people can have smartphones than ever before, which means the internet goes mobile in a really big way, and that's going to be really interesting to see and really quite cool. I think the ability to not just surf the net and look at YouTube clips or web pages, but actually do a lot more while you're out and about. Location-based services. Social media goes mobile. There's a huge wealth of opportunity there of all these things coming together in one handy little convenient package.
So everything becoming smaller?
Smaller,
again.
faster, as ever. If you think back 10 years to the computer you had then, the one that's sitting on your desk at the moment is, I would say, roughly 1,000 times more powerful. Now, there's not a lot of technology that goes at that rate, and certainly the IT industry shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. But for some reason, I just can't get my cell phone, my PC to boot any faster. That's something that I just love it if I could push the button and it came on like a TV, but instead it warms up like a jet. So,
well, I suppose more solid media drives.
Yeah, absolutely. The rise of flash memory.
Yeah.
Now that they've started putting it in lightweight Mac laptops, the world's your oyster. That kind of thing will revolutionise computing, because you don't have to sit and wait there while the disk spins up.
Yeah.
It's just on.
Yeah.
And away you go. No, it should be very entertaining, I think.
But no rocket pack.
No rocket pack, no underwater cities. I was promised an underwater city, and I haven't got one, and it's really annoying me endlessly. And I'm looking forward to a moon base, but I fear that that's going to be another 100 years away as well.
You will get a new Doctor, though.
We will. David Tennant bows out from the role of the Doctor, and if you don't know what we're talking about, you live under a rock, frankly. And, of course, we've seen the last of Battlestar Galactica, which was probably the best science fiction show of the year, I would say.
Which I'm going to investigate starting right from the beginning.
Jolly good. It's the best way to do it. 4 seasons and a little mini-series of sheer, beautiful American television.
I shall get a TV tan over summer.
After I've installed Windows, I'll come round and I'll share your tan.
Paul Brislen, thanks so much for the year.
Thank you.
We look forward to catching up in the new year.
Sounds good.
Cheers. Paul Brislen on Twitter, and go find his blog at audent.wordpress.com. Time now, 21 minutes past 8.